Alright, checking out the Nasdaq on the weekly chart. We saw price come down today and test into the primary 23.6 near that 13,005 and a quarter. There's also a secondary 38.2 down there at 12,894.50 that was not tested. Just right down into that buy box that had been mentioned. With the price testing down, we set our tertiary retracements, and resistance one is here at 13,908.75, and the second one at 14,455. The secondary 23.6 also in range there as well. We could take it down into a daily chart to see the volume profile just a tad better. And we see the test into and above that 13,908.75 and rejection thus far. A little bit of a volume node here at 13,635, so we'll see if that holds or not. We could also come down into a shorter term time frame and attach a volume profile, and we'll just do it from the low into the high. This kind of establishes a volume profile for the range of the bounce, and it shows again almost a 3 distribution formation here with a node down here at 13,000 to 13,002, one here at 13,400 to 13,580, and then almost a little bit of a distribution up here at top, 13,826 to 13,965. So if you don't hold the top distribution, you slide into the middle one. If you don't hold the bottom one, you slide into the middle one, you slide into the bottom one. And these are short-term structures from the bounce. So finally, we could go ahead and throw just a shorter term retracement on in the same level, something like this, and we'll just do, there we go. And so we now have our short term support points 13,6, 17.50, the point of control from the bounce at 13,489, and then the 61.8 must hold 13,391.50. And then a complete retrace down here into the lows right near that primary 23.6 we were discussing earlier, and into a buy box from 12,700 into 13,000. To the top side, if price is to break over 13,908.75, we look for a move higher into the 14,374, 14,455, keeping with the test of the downtrend. The next point, or the next resistance point above that's 14,896.75. Let's go into some of the holdings real quick. We've got Apple here, and all these retracements are already drawn, but we see Apple here tested down into the secondary 38.2 this morning, 152.44, and from there bounced to close the gap and test into resistance 1 near close, 153.82 or 163.82 to 164.49. That's the tertiary 38.2 as well as the secondary 23.6. Resistance 2, 167.47, and then 171.12. If we unhide this, we have our support points 158.71 and 156.14, then back down into retest at 152.44, and then volume near 149. Microsoft tested near the primary 23.6, that was 267.17, the low of the day 271.53. And if we set the retracement from the highs into that swing low, we have the 38.2 as resistance 1 at 301.36. That's also the largest volume node in range, so we'll need to keep an eye on that. Also, we're seeing a series of lower highs, so if we do see a break above 301.67, that kind of breaks that series of lower highs as well. In Tesla is the next one. Tesla, we see testing down into this major volume node on the daily chart. Quite large, tested down into 700. Looks like the volume runs down into about 680 is that node. Price is back over the primary 38.2 at 770.63. So if it can hold that, we look for the retest at the 808.42 as resistance, and we'll need to break over that 907.61 above there. If we lose 700, a lot of volume in here. I don't think I'd really want to short Tesla right now, but the next level of support down here at 539 and then 478. Google. A little bit of issue here with Google. We see it tested down and through the primary 38.2 at 255.3 today and previous, each time bouncing up and out of it. We do have a lot of volume up here from 27.02 up into about 27.65, so that's going to be an issue for Google. We'll need to see price up and over that to move higher. Otherwise, look for a rejection at the 27.02 range to move back down into 2553. Amazon's just really a mess. Apologies for all the weird lines. In short, Amazon was in this big box and it made a lot of volume. Then it broke out of the box. Then it broke back into the box, and then it broke back out of the box again. So, Amazon needs to regain 14 or 34.14. That's the tertiary 38.2 and break back up into this volume. If it doesn't, there's not a lot of volume below price, and so if we do keep continuing to see break there at that 29.52 to 28.83 range, it is susceptible for price to move lower. The only thing that really caught price today was the point of control from the bounce off of the earnings low. But below there, we have a retest at the 2700 range and then down into 24.46 and then 23.55. And what else we got? Facebook. Facebook on a weekly, just massive drop all the way down here into the primary 50 at 294. Price moved all the way down into 290. This massive volume node from the 61.8 primary all the way up into the 50 from 157 to 201. Nice buying opportunity in range, and now we're seeing price back up and over that 50. Not a lot of volume from the 200 up into 244, the primary 38.2. And then you start to get into more of the volume up here within at the 264, the secondary 38.2, as well as downtrend. But quite a bit of range above with that volume below. And then Netflix, similar look here. Different color pattern on my fibs, trying to change everything. So primary test down here into, let me just get rid of the 0 real quick. There. So primary test down into the 50 at 350.67. Again, just an absurd amount of volume here in range. Similar to the Facebook chart, the 61.8 at 267, the 50 at 350, and a lot of range just all within that zone. We see a double bottom bounce and demand off of each test, kind of like an H bottom here. And while price can remain above 385 to 390, tests possible to 434 and then 485 area as well to retest the breakdown here from that previous consolidation range. So that is an outlook of some of the Nasdaq charts. You'll notice that I didn't really say what I thought this market was going to do because there's a lot of issues right now geopolitically and elsewise. So really just letting the chart tell me what to do. Well, price is close to a resistance point and the risk reward favors the downside. I'll be scalping the downside. It's really hard to try to break through this 12,700, 1300 or 13,000 range on Nasdaq. This is a very major support point, but given the structure of today, that short-term structure that we looked at, it's really quite poor. Just broken into little nodes. You can see we're actually losing this first node up here. So looking for a test back down into the 13.5 range if it can't reestablish. So we'll just have to see. Risk reward wise, 13.910 to 13.983. It's a better short than a long. There's a little bit of structure to clean up through today's action. But all in all, I think it's important to remember we don't always have to be playing, and we don't always have to have positions. We don't always have to be directional. It's a-okay to flip-flop your sides and play different strategies and come into calls or puts or spreads or whatever you think is necessary. Number one rule of the game is to protect your capital at all costs. And so if you're not doing that, you're doing a disservice to yourself and a disservice to your capital. So I hope everybody has been steadfast through this market action, and I hope you remain steadfast and everyone remains safe.